Hello, my name is Natalie and I'm the Community Engagement Associate at Conserving Carolina. Today I want to share with you the 7 Leave No Trace principles, or as they're more commonly known, L&T. L&T stands for Leave No Trace, which is a framework created by the Center of Outdoor Ethics to provide guidance on how to have little to no impact while we're exploring outdoors. While Leave No Trace is based in backcountry principles, these principles can easily be adapted to wherever you are exploring, from a nearby park or trail to your own backyard. I will be going over each of the 7 principles while providing a hand trick to remember each of them, and then we will do an activity to help us understand one of these principles better. So let's get started.
The first principle is to plan ahead and prepare.
The hand symbol for each principle will correspond with the number of the principle. So for number 1, we will use one finger and put it up to the side of our head. This helps us to remember to think about what we are bringing and remember to plan ahead. This principle is important to help us safely explore outdoors. Here are some questions that you can ask yourself the next time you're planning your next outing.
What will the weather be like? Will I need a rain jacket or sunscreen? Do I have a map if I get lost? Do I have enough food and water?
By planning ahead, we make sure that we are doing our best not to damage any natural resources.
The second principle is to camp and hike on durable surfaces.
For this principle, we're going to use 2 fingers to make a person walking and walk along your arm. This helps us to remember that we should stay on the trail to minimize any impact to any of the important species that we find outdoors.
If a lot of people walk over an area with plants, those plants will no longer be able to grow, so it is best to stay on the trail. Principle 3 is to dispose of waste properly.
Use 3 fingers to make a small scoop shape. This creates a shovel that helps us to remember that whatever we pack in, we must pack out. This principle is really important so that we can avoid pollution in any of these natural areas.
Plastic can take over 1,000 years to decompose. Before you leave a space you're visiting, make sure you check you aren't leaving anything behind. Check for wrappers or crumbs and put it in your bag to put it in the trash whenever you get back home. Principle 4 is to leave what you find.
To remember this principle, we're going to use 4 fingers to create the sign language letter B. This reminds us to leave things be. When we see something outdoors, like a pretty flower or a rock or a leaf, sometimes we would like to take it home with us, but instead, try taking a picture.
By taking a photo, instead of taking these things, we are not damaging the natural environment. Principle 5 is to practice fire safety.
We'll use 5 fingers to make a fire to remember this principle. While on a day trip or in your backyard, you may not be making a fire, but if you do find yourself in the backcountry overnight, this principle is very important. But only people who have trained and practiced making safe fires should practice this principle.
The 6th principle is to respect wildlife.
For this principle, put 3 fingers on each hand and make animal ears. This reminds us to respect wildlife. The easiest way to respect wildlife when exploring is to practice the rule of thumb.
Extend your arm out in front of you and do a thumbs up. If you can't cover the animal with your thumb, then you are too close. This allows the animal a safe distance to feel safe and act normally.
Some other things we can do to respect wildlife are not to feed wild animals with our food and make sure to pick up food scraps. We have to remember that we are just visitors in their homes.
The 7th and final principle is to be considerate of others.
For this principle, we'll put 5 fingers on one hand and 2 fingers on the other. We'll use this when passing others on the trail to say hello and wish them peace. We have to remember that we are sharing the outdoors with others when we want to explore. Some people come outside to listen to the quiet sounds of nature, although sometimes I want to scream how excited I am to be spending time outside. I have to remember to respect others and explore quietly. Also, do your best to stay on the side of the trail and allow others to pass. If the path is really narrow, people going downhill should step aside to allow others to pass. Phew, that was a lot. But I hope those hand tricks can help you to remember these important principles that allow us to leave no trace as we explore. Let's review those principles really quick. Principle 1 is to plan and think ahead. Principle 2 is to travel and camp on durable surfaces. Principle 3 is whatever you pack in, you pack out. Principle 4 is to leave things be. Principle 5 is to practice fire safety. Principle 6 is to respect wildlife by practicing the rule of thumb. And Principle 7 is to be kind to others on the trail. Say hello and wish them peace while they explore. Now we'll practice one of our Leave No Trace principles. The Outdoor Ethic Institute has more activities on their website to get to know these principles better, but the one that we'll be practicing today is helping us remember to leave it be.
For this activity, you will need a blank piece of paper, a colored pencil or crayon, and a leaf that you found outside. Make sure to find a leaf that's already on the ground, and don't pick any leaves off living plants. Now take a couple minutes to observe your leaf. Figure out why you were drawn to it. What do you notice about the leaf? Use your senses. See what you notice. Notice the color, the texture, maybe what it smells like. Not what it tastes like, though. What do you wonder about the leaf? What makes you curious about the leaf? How long ago did it come to the spot you found it? What makes it that color? And finally, what does it remind you of? Does the shape remind you of a character you know or an item you've seen before?
Now, I don't know about you, but now that I've observed this leaf, I don't want to let it go. But I have to remember our fourth L&T to leave it be. And I can start by taking a picture, but another way to take this leaf with me is to do this activity.
Place your leaf on a hard surface and place the piece of paper on top of the leaf. Use your crayon or colored pencil at an angle and rub with pressure to color the paper over the leaf. You will begin to see your leaf appear on the paper.
Now you can put your leaf back where you found it outside and take your new paper leaf wherever you want and keep it forever, still practicing Leave No Trace principles and leaving it be. Thank you so much for joining me to learn about the Leave No Trace principles. I hope you are able to use these as you explore outdoors. Show us at Conserving Carolina what you have been doing to leave no trace where you are exploring. Thanks so much.